Last week, I was in Disney World, as you can probably tell. And while I was there, I realized that a lot of the attractions that they have also have Funko Pops. And so today, we're gonna be building Disney World out of Funko Pops. But the problem is we can't do it on this table, it's way too small. These should be just a little bit better. This is huge. Table number 2. And just like that, everybody, the tables are set up. This is going to be massive. Gotta put the ears back on, but now I feel like I know what a lot of you guys are gonna be commenting. Tristan, this doesn't look like Disney World. And I have the solution to that because I grabbed grass tablecloths and we're gonna be trying this out to see if it looks a little bit more Disney-y. And so, boom, there we go. And I've gotta say, this grass is looking pretty decent. And I know that there are some small folds throughout, but we'll fix that when we start to put stuff on the actual table. You won't even notice it. Especially because I have lots to put on there. Seriously, it's a problem. But before I do any of that, we kind of need to section off this place. And so a little while ago, I went over to the store and picked up some paper, and I actually already cut it so we can just start putting this stuff down, and this should be good to make kind of like a road or pathway. And then because I realized not every single one of these places is gonna warrant like grass on the ground, I decided to get this as well, a gray, maybe for Galaxy's Edge or Tomorrowland. And I don't just have one of these, I actually have a bunch. Then I also ended up grabbing this brown, and I'm trying to think like Animal Kingdom could be fun for this. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but for now, let's start putting down the pathways. Okay, so here's what we've got with the road so far, and I know a second ago I showed you them going the other way as well, or at least I tried it. And for right now, I'm not going to be putting those down because I don't have enough to go all the way with even spots. So what I'm going to do is as I put down the different attractions, I'm just going to kind of make it as big or as small as I need it. And I feel like that's probably going to be best because some of these have a lot of different pops. Oh, and now also, before we put down any of the Funko Pops, I wanted to show you guys that I picked up every single one of the maps for the parks. We have Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Magic Kingdom. These are seriously going to be helpful when I'm putting everything down. It'll just kind of give me a better idea of where stuff kind of goes. Or honestly, the amount of stuff that I'm going to have to put down is a lot, so that way I won't forget as many things. And so I guess because this one has the least out of all of them, let's start with Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is the newest park of the 4 and has some pretty interesting attractions to go along with it. Did you know that out of the 4 parks, Animal Kingdom is the largest, covering more than 500 acres? And funny enough, it's looking like it will probably be the smallest in the Funko Pop version. Like, come on, Funko, we need a Tree of Life. That would have looked amazing here. Now that is pretty much all of the figures for Animal Kingdom. And I understand there isn't very many of them. That's why we're starting with it. We're gonna be building up all the way to Magic Kingdom, where they have a lot of pops. But I do have one more figure that I wanna add to Animal Kingdom, and it's because I found it in the park while I was on my trip. And the one that I'm talking about is this here, the 100th anniversary Oswald. They actually had it in the front gift shop. And because it's Disney and you can find it in the park, we've gotta put it with the rest of them. Look at how great it is. Alright, so now that we're pretty much done with Animal Kingdom, we have Epcot as our next park. And this one is kind of similar in terms of the amount of figures, but I think I figured out a fun way to make this work. Because if you take a look in the map, they actually have a large part of the park which is World Showcase. It's a celebration of a bunch of different countries around a giant lake, and there isn't any specific Funko Pops for any of these countries, but Funko made some generic figures to go for some of these ones. And the ones that I have are Canada, Mexico, Germany, and England, so we're definitely going to be throwing those in as well, because why not? Oh, and also, this is the perfect park to throw in 2 exclusives. We have the Orange Bird here, one of my favorites. This one here is also the Diamond Edition version, which I love, and then the other one that I've got here, which is also kind of funny, because in Epcot they have the Food and Wine Festival. It's where you can walk around the countries, and they've actually added more smaller booths with different countries there, and they have different foods and wines, of course, from those different places. And so a few years ago, Funko actually created a Chef Figment to go along with it, the mascot kind of Epcot. He also has his own ride, Journey to Imagination, so double jeopardy. Epcot, one of my favorite parks to visit. And very similar to the Tree of Life over in Animal Kingdom, Spaceship Earth does not have a Funko Pop either. The good news is there is a few other pops I feel fit pretty perfectly here. And now really quickly, if you guys have never seen the Skyliner Funko Pop before, I figure I might as well show it off because it came out a little while ago and is something that you can actually ride in the park from hotel to park. It has very quickly become one of my favorite modes of transportation in Disney World because we used it for both Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which we're going to be going to next. And so because you actually get on here in World Showcase, I thought it would be fun to throw it into the Epcot one because we have a couple big buildings for Hollywood Studios. It's more fun to put it over here with these guys. Oh, and of course I couldn't just go with a normal Remy for the Ratatouille ride. I had to go with the one where he's actually making Ratatouille like he does in the ride. Oh, and you know what? Now that I think about it, there's also a Frozen ride. So do I have any Frozen Pops? Aha! I have an upside down Olaf. Let's use him. Well, here he is, everybody, the upside down Olaf, and I guess this should work. Let's put him right here in front of Figment. Boom, looking good. Now, everybody, I've got one more thing before we move on to the next park. While I was in Epcot, I went over to the Japan Pavilion, which is seriously a lot of fun, and if you go to Epcot, I definitely recommend checking it out. They have Funko Pops, a lot of anime statues, as well as some pretty crazy snacks. And so anyways, while I was there, and I feel like we should probably be adding this to the actual Disney World, I was able to get this here, the soy sauce bottle. It was the first time I had ever seen it in person, and I thought it was so crazy that they actually had this one. I didn't even know it was available yet. Also, I really do like this one detail that Funko added with it. Well, of course he's holding the chopsticks, but if you look on the bottom, he's actually wearing those like little wooden shoes. It's really neat. This also falls under the foodies category, and speaking of food, I grabbed a snack while I was there. Because like I mentioned, they have some pretty crazy ones, and the one that I ended up going for were these tiny crabs. I've had crab before, but never like this, and when I was going to cash out, the lady actually said that it tastes kind of like soy sauce, so this works out perfectly. Oh, wow. Okay, take a look at this. How interesting. And now, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna be trying the entire thing right away. Let's just start with something small and see how it goes. You know what? It's not bad. It definitely tastes like soy sauce, but also kind of has that crunch like a cracker. How interesting. All right, now enough dilly-dallying. Let's get to Hollywood Studios.
Here's something you might not know. Hollywood Studios used to actually be a film and TV studio. That's why when you're walking around, you can see some of these large buildings throughout the park. Now they focus more on the attractions, but that's okay because we're doing that too today. Like Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, which surprisingly has a lot of pops.
Now, if you're wondering why a lot of this is just me putting down figures at this point, it's because we haven't got to any of the actual attraction buildings. It's gonna get really cool when we start to do those. And actually, now that I think about it, the Tower of Terror is in Hollywood Studios and does have a pop. Now, if you've ever been to Disney, you would know that very close by to the Tower of Terror, you can actually find a bit of a Cars Land. It's not like the one in California, but they do have a couple cool characters like Cruz Ramirez as well as Lightning McQueen. And so I thought just over here behind the Tower of Terror would be a perfect spot to put them. There it is, everybody, Indiana Jones. And I thought it was so perfect that that one released recently because of the stunt spectacular they have in Hollywood Studios. It also kind of reminds me of a time when I was out in the jungle and had to fend for myself. Oh, what a great time it was. Good times, good times. Anyways, let's get to Galaxy's Edge.
There are two rides in Galaxy's Edge, Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, which means you can pilot the Millennium Falcon and escape the First Order all in one place. Oh, and I have to mention that DJ Rex Funko Pop is my favorite of the bunch.
Okay, everybody, it is now the next day and we're gonna be getting into Magic Kingdom, which is the biggest park out of all of them. Like, we still have these figures here to put on the table. And no, don't get me wrong, this does look nice, but I feel like we need some more buildings. I mean, Animal Kingdom doesn't have any. And now also, oh, by the way, I found my ears again. Anyways, Magic Kingdom has so many different lands and so many different Funko Pops to go along with them. We're actually gonna be breaking it up a little bit more than the rest of the sets. Because we have Fantasyland, Frontierland, Adventureland, Main Street, Tomorrowland, and Liberty Square. Some of these don't have too many, but places like Tomorrowland, I can pretty much build the entire thing out of Pops. And so I seriously think this is gonna be a lot of fun. And hey, you know what? Let's start with Tomorrowland. And now I do understand that there is a bit of space in the front here, but I'm gonna be adding more characters later on walking around that maybe don't exactly fit with the land. So I think we're gonna be saving that spot for some of those characters. And also, it is too bad that one of the main ones here is a double Mickey. I can't put 3 of them in the same spot. Because we've got him on Space Mountain, then on the People Mover. He can't be in another spacesuit. Maybe if it was a different outfit. So Mickey, you're gonna have to stay off for today. All right, now the next attraction that I want to do is actually gonna be right here next to Tomorrowland. And it is going to be the the Jungle Cruise. Now I understand that it isn't like really close to it when you're at the parks, but still, it's gonna look great. And so what happened was after I finished up Hollywood Studios, I found these pieces of paper and I wanna use them as like almost like mini lakes, and we're gonna put them right here. I'm gonna cut the harsh edges, make them more into almost like a lake shape or like a smaller kind of river to see what that would look like. And I wanna put one in each because I have a Mickey Mouse in Jungle Cruise as well as a Skipper in Jungle Cruise. I think they would look really great next to each other. Okay, so we just added in a few more things. We've got both Pirates of the Caribbean, which I am really enjoying with the way I did the water. I used the outside of the paper to make it look like they're almost like on a bit of an island, which makes sense for pirates. And then I also went back to the Jungle Cruise because I thought about it, right across the way is both the Dole Whip and the Enchanted Tiki Room, so I ended up adding those figures too. And I gotta say, they're looking pretty good. I especially love that Mickey with the little floral shirt. And so now, everyone, it is time to do Fantasyland, where I have a bunch of different characters. Just take a look at this corner here. That's all of the ones that are gonna be going in it. Like, we've got Alice, Mr. Toad, Peter Pan, It's a Small World, a lot of stuff. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you guys, I added in this purple paper because I feel like it's kind of Fantasyland-ish. I think it looks good.
Magic Kingdom. The park that is visited over 17 million times annually, and when it comes to attractions, it is full of ones that have Funko Pops. All of these lands are coming together to create what is the largest part of the display, even though technically Magic Kingdom is the smallest of the 4 parks by 50 acres.
And as you guys could probably tell, I extended it right away because I knew there was not going to be enough room here. And I know that it's kind of crowded, but so is Fantasyland, so I think it works well. Now, everybody, this next ride is definitely an interesting one. It's got the most pops out of any of the rides we've done. And I've got this navy blue paper to go along with it for the bottom. I feel like some of you guys might know what this is. And of course, the one that I'm talking about is the Haunted Mansion. And I actually have the mansion here. It came as a pop. And there's not just the 10 that I have, there's dozens of them, like chrome versions of the Hitchhiking Ghost, glow-in-the-dark variants, non-glow-in-the-dark variants. It's a lot. And they're also making even more of them because of the brand new Haunted Mansion movie that just came out on Disney Plus and in theaters. It's kind of crazy. Also, that wasn't a sponsored bit. I don't know why I said it like it was. Okay, everybody, there we go. That is the Haunted Mansion setup. And like I said, that is a lot of figures. And so now I've already started working on the next one, which is actually gonna be going here. And it's a ride that isn't really around anymore, but I wanted to include it. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It is Splash Mountain. And when you look at the Magic Kingdom map, it does say that they're gonna be swapping it over to Tiana's Bayou, which should be coming in, I believe, 2024. But I still think it's gonna be really fun to put it here because we do, of course, have some of the Funko Pops. And I'll probably do something very similar to how I did Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's got the water around the outside of it. It'll look nice. And the cool thing is I do have a couple figures from it, so let's put them in. And well, everybody, there we go. The Disney World is complete. Almost. You might notice that right in front of you, there's a spot that is still available. And also, when you think of Disney World, there's probably one main thing that I haven't put on yet. And that is, of course, let me grab it for everybody, the Walt Disney World Castle. This one here that I've got is actually Cinderella's Castle because that's the one that's in Disney World, and it is for the 50th anniversary of the parks. It also comes with a golden Mickey, which is perfect for right in the front there. Now, everybody, I've got to say the castle is looking great, and it is officially complete. I added a couple more characters kind of just around, ones that we didn't have yet, like Daisy and Donald, as well as Pluto and Chip and Dale. I thought they were perfect additions just to be around, especially in Tomorrowland where we had a bit of room. And here we are, everybody, a final last look at everything, and I gotta say it turned out amazing, but let's see what other people think.
Whoa, that's what you've been working on. Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow, that is crazy.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
This is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
This looks awesome.
Haunted Mansion. I like those Cars Pops right there.
Is this what you've been doing for the last 2 days?
I couldn't, like, when you pitched this idea to me, I didn't think it would be this big.
This is sick. You did a good job with this, Tristan.
What are we gonna ride first?
And so anyways, everybody, I hope that you guys did enjoy this video because it was seriously a lot of fun, and I'll see you tomorrow.